Hey guys, Chris Murphy here, and I want to talk today about my Bufo Alvarious experience. Now, Bufo is 5-MeO-DMT. It's a very strong psychedelic. I think it's the strongest psychedelic you can do. It was a lot more intense than my ayahuasca experience. And I can say since doing it 5 weeks ago, my life has changed in so many ways. I feel like a completely different person. It's like an old part of me had died, and I'm starting a new life. And it's very important indeed. So this is where you smoke the venom off a toad, which is from northern Mexico, Southwest America, that sort of area, and it contains the real strong DMT molecules. So when you smoke it, you get that massive kind of ayahuasca journey. And I could explain it as like ayahuasca, like in a shotgun fired down your face. It's like a lot more intense, a lot more. You're just completely in it, and you really have no sense of control of what you experience. But since doing it, maybe to talk about the benefits before I go into it, I felt a lot more trusting myself, a lot less sort of codependent on different people, needing different validation from others, a lot more trusting myself. And it's weird how after this experience, just so much in my life has changed, or I really feel stuff. I'd say I've become a lot more feeling in my body. So maybe a certain person was in my life and it was really triggering some intense feeling in my body, but it was like I was being guided by my body to tell me what to do, which is how I think is how we're supposed to live. We focus we're too much in our mind, we're asking people for advice, but if we come back to ourselves, we know all the answers, we know exactly what we want. So part of the reason for me wanting to do this was to end, as I talked about in previous videos about enmeshment, sort of a strong attachment with parents, not having clear boundaries, really want to step into adulthood, not being this child anymore, not being in this like victim mindset, to be like completely fully responsible for your own life, which, and be a courageous leader, and really love myself. This is a big reason why I did it, and to really step into my power, find out what my spiritual purpose was. This was my intention before doing it. I was very scared, to the point where it came up and the shamans were there, and once they give it to me, and I smoked it, within 30 seconds it just hits you. And then they explain that the first part, so the first like 10-20 minutes is kind of, you have this ego death, you become one with everything, and then the sort of the next part, sort of another 20 minutes, is just coming back. Your ego starts to come in, so you start to be aware of who you are again, your identity, the problems you have, and all this stuff becomes really clear. And then the final part is gratitude, and then coming around. So I'll take you through those different stages. And everyone in my group, I think when they did it, it hit them really hard, and then it was like they just completely passed out. And when you're experiencing, when you're watching other people do it, so the group we did it with, everyone was doing it first, so it was like kind of like you're in going for surgery, and it's like dreading your turn to be called out next. You don't know in what order it's going to be. Well, they ask who wants to go, and then I think I was like position 5, so I was seeing all what could seem like exorcisms, happening. It definitely didn't fill me with excitement about doing it, so I was very nervous. But in that moment when you're about to get it and you're going to have no control whatsoever, I was just saying to myself, I'm a courageous leader, I've got this, and it kind of felt like I was about to do a bungee jump. And people have explained this experience of doing Bufo as like dying, like maybe your life flashes before your eyes, but it is very similar to what happens, because you go into this beautiful place where you just realize that you're everything. And I had that with ayahuasca. On both occasions, I had that quite enlightening experience. So when this hit me, it was nothing new. What was different to my experience to others was that I didn't sort of pass out and couldn't remember everything, but I pretty much hit me straight away and I knew where I was. But I think the shaman said to me that I didn't completely surrender, which is fine. It doesn't really matter, but it's probably a slightly different experience where I felt a bit more like, oh my God, this is it, I can see this. Whereas I think a lot of the other people who did it didn't remember seeing anything. So what else did I get? Well, after that, it's really hard to explain exactly what happened, but everything just happened so fast. It was like ayahuasca, like fast forward and a big hit, like you could have a shot of alcohol, or you could drink a beer, right? You know, it's kind of like comparing that. The ayahuasca is a lot more of a slower journey into it, and it explains things a lot more. You go on this guided journey with all these visuals, where I think this is just happening so fast, and you kind of you're not in control whatsoever, and you're kind of like, your body's just throwing yourself around, and it's you know, it was quite intense. But straight away when it hit me, I was like, oh my God, I'm everything. You know, I'm the universe, I'm God, I've been here before, obviously on ayahuasca, but this was a lot more like, the fact that it hits you so fast, like within 30 seconds, is really powerful. And then as I started to let go and go with the ride, I sort of went into this spiral of feeling all these different emotions, you know, like of sadness, of anger, of grief, and you sort of see it in like a, mine was very visual. A lot of people don't really say it's as visual. It's very much a lot in the body. Of course I felt that, but I seen things very strong visually. And for me, I think the big questions I sometimes have is like, what's this all about? What is life? Why do we feel sad? Why do we feel down? All this sort of stuff. And it hit me very strongly that, you know, we are everything. You know, we're all the different emotions, we're all the different feelings. You know, everyone in life is having a completely different experience. You know, because for a second I'm in anger, I feel complete despair. You know, I feel complete grief, and then that allows me now to connect to people who are probably living that more out in their life. So you see that everyone's kind of living this different life. So, and then what happened was, yeah, it was just, I came back. It's like, then your ego starts to come back. You know, you start to feel everything, then your ego starts to come back, and I start to notice myself having a lot of shame, because you've kind of got this group of people who are cheering you on, a lot of shame to show my emotions. You know, I was kind of saying like, I'm fine, I'm okay. So there was a lot of shame of being really vulnerable and sad. So this is the sort of stuff you take from it. It's kind of a weird thing, because you go away and then you remember your experience, and then that's kind of an imprint in the back of your mind, you know, like a permanent like roadmap, you know. So I've become aware of that more, to be open, to be vulnerable, to just be me. You know, that's what it's all about, is you just have to be yourself. You know, one of the shamans I spoke to at the end, they were saying, you know, we are divine gods and goddesses, you know, in human form, you know, that all that is light, all that is good. It was great. One of the big things I seen as well on this journey was the suffering, you know, the victimhood, and it's like an energy. It's like a very dark energy of like a burning pit of suffering. And what I seen was the kind of people that I've perhaps worked with, or people have been close to as family members or whoever, who stay in that kind of victim. You know, they want to kind of drag you into their sad life, or this is the problem I'm experiencing. And what we normally do is we meet them and we go down a level. And I seen that very clearly, and I was like, no, I don't want any part of that, because I can see that that's stopping me. And also, like, because I've been a lot more into conspiracy theories and stuff, and I think I point at people and saying, like, this person's to blame, this is the problem, this billionaire's doing this, that's doing that. But that's staying in victim, you know. So I really feel like I've ended that with my life now. So completely flushed that away. And yeah, no, that was really powerful. And also with the shaman as well, like, she's been doing some sessions with me as my sort of therapist. So I seen this very strong, there was like this unconditional love for her. This separation, you know, this sort of problems I've had with women, it was like she was kind of pushing me into my power, you know, saying like, don't attach, because I think there's part of me that wants to attach, like as a mother, you know, like to a mother figure, or needing that validation. And basically I was like, no, I don't want that anymore. So that was really powerful. Then the final bit, all I can explain, was complete bliss and divine. I don't know, it was so beautiful. It was like at the end, everything came full circle, and it was like life just had so much meaning, you know. The fact that we go through sadness, we go through grief, we go through anger, we have all these problems, but that's life, you know, that's everything, you know, and that's just life that we're living, you know, and it serves its purpose to allow us to grow and to get more to the light and find out more about ourselves and be more expressive. And it's good energy, you know, when you can feel that. So that was just the most blissful, divine moment in my entire life, you know, and just everything felt so good. I was so grateful for life. I was so grateful for being alive. And when you're in this crazy world where everything's going so fast and it's crazy, you're like, I appreciate the day-to-day life where I can just do the simple things. Like I can just wake up, I can get a shower, I can eat my breakfast, you know. It just allows you to appreciate each moment, and the sad moments have more meaning, you know. Definitely a deeper level of compassion I now have for everyone who suffers. You know, I was a bit unsure and thinking, okay, the real dark, horrible stuff in the world, is this some sort of alien force which is like invading our consciousness or something like that? But there's some theories like that. But I do believe everything now is a part of one, part of God, part of the universe. Even the most horrible, horrific things are in some way in balance with the universe, as crazy as that sounds, you know, to make existence possible. So there's a lot less like these people shouldn't do that or this. It's like that's just the way it is, and people are going through it and people are suffering. So that was great, and that divine moment was so beautiful. It will always stay with me. The two shamans were playing the music. It was absolutely beautiful. When you see them, they're talking in different language. They're like casping, you know, spirits out of people's body. You would just think it's a completely different world. You see these films where it's like exorcisms and stuff, but it's like that's what you sometimes see with people. So it's crazy. I wouldn't say I was in tremendous pain, but there was definitely sad moments and things like that. But overall, it was just quite an extraordinary experience. I feel like I would do it again, and I've got no fear of sort of letting go. And as I was going to explain then, you know, on the final day we did like an ecstatic dancing, and you kind of just feel that all of the emotions and stuff are part of you, you know, like for example, the music comes on, it's very angry, and you get into that really aggressive. I think if we just allow ourselves to feel, you know, that's the big lesson I took, just allow yourself to feel whatever's going on, because every time you resist it, every time you go, okay, I'm going to put the TV on now, I'm going to eat this junk food, I don't want to feel sad, I don't want to feel this pain, I don't want to feel this sexual frustration, whatever you're feeling, just feel it, because life will be a lot easier, and you're always going to have to face that anyway. You know, every time we escape, then yeah, but also not to be too hard on ourselves, because things can be overwhelming sometimes, you know. But as I'm finding now, I've spent a lot of time in the last 5 weeks on my own with no one. I've been able to go deeper and just really love and accept myself, and I don't really feel like I need anyone else now into my life to make me feel better or anything like that. It's like I kind of want to naturally manifest stuff. And yeah, since then it's been you know, an interesting integration process the couple of weeks or so after, just things changing, you know, more drive, focus on what I need to do, but also this trust that just following, you know, whatever's happening is happening for the right reason. You know, maybe sometimes I'm doing some work or meetups or the YouTube or whatever, I don't, you know, and it doesn't quite feel right, but it's like I know that that's happening for a reason. I'm kind of being pushed in whatever you're meant to do, whatever life you're meant to live should be effortless. You know, I had to find a new flat the other day, and within 24 hours I found somewhere, and it was the first ad I seen, it was the first person I phoned, you know. And there's a couple of other examples like that in my life as well, where, you know, I'm seeing that there's two roads. There's the stressful, hard working road, and then there's like an easy road, which is easier for you, but for some reason we subconsciously are going down the other road. It's kind of crazy. So Bufo, would I recommend it? You know, hell yeah, definitely, but obviously it's not for everyone. It's you know, like you said, I don't know if I've explained it too much, but you know, you smoke it, it's about a minute of an hour, sorry, of coming round, normally 2 or 3 minutes, where I think some people had like an ego death. So this is kind of the first stage where you kind of lose your identity, you don't know who you are. I don't know if I fully had that, you know, because I was still aware of who I was, but also I realized I was someone completely different, but I still had some sort of consciousness. You know, I think some people like passed out and then woke up. Some people who woke up look quite scared, like they'd just been born or something, you know, like it's like they say it's like a rebirth. And, you know, people don't normally do this too often, I don't think, normally like once or maybe twice, because it's really strong. Like ayahuasca is a bit more, you know, it gives you maybe certain more answers or stuff. I think this just allows you to get a massive hit of something, you know. And I think me now, my journey is very much about, I want to be an embodiment of whoever, you know, like of you know, all that is good in the world, you know, all that people want to be, you know, to be that person to inspire people, and to constantly be self-aware and understand that it's part of the journey. So hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Just to mention as well, I'm starting a new YouTube channel on the side, which I want to document a bit more about the spiritual awakening stuff. So depending on, I don't know if this will always resonate with people, but it's just stuff I'm interested in talking about in terms of, you know, what things I'm seeing different in the world now, you know, reality wise. It's like sometimes I feel like I'm seeing life through a different lens. I think, you know, I think things are just becoming more clear, you know, but for some people they're just maybe not as open to that. Like talking about shadow stuff, how like everything that's outside of us is a reflection of us. You know, I understand that not everyone's open to that. Some people think, oh no, it's just this person who's got the problem. If I get rid of that person, then it's fine. I think now it's a lot more of a deeper introspection. So I'm starting a new channel called Slavery to Sovereignty. I'll put the link here. I'm already putting a couple of videos on where I can talk a bit more openly and freely and just whack stuff out there. So if that's it'd be good to, if you join, if you really resonate with this video and you feel like it's making sense, and just give me some feedback as well, likes, and if you want me to talk more about this stuff and certain topics, just let me know, guys, because I do feel in a much better place right now. But yeah, have a great day, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon.